Welcome to Bad Medicine with Miss P. I'm gonna try to put a smile on my face, and I guess I should have warned you before. If ever you detect any aggression from these videos, it's not towards a patient or a coworker or even a doctor. Chances are it's coming from my daughter's bedroom. I just left there. I broke out into a sweat. I've been cleaning for 2 hours and not really making any headway. I don't understand how one child can be so disgusting. When she moves out, most likely with her boyfriend when she's pregnant, I'm going to burn down the whole upper level except for this room and just start over. There's no saving the furniture. There's there's no saving the furniture. And she's not 6. She's not 6 that got a hold of a Sharpie. She just turned 12. Oh, she's going to be a teenager soon. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. I made it through my son, barely. Police, of course, were involved, but I really, I don't know that I'm going to make it. Again, I don't think I think I'm going to make it. She's just destroyed my home. I've never seen that many clothes just smushed, clothes I just washed and folded, just smushed into a drawer. Just maybe she used a crowbar, a foot, maybe an elephant assisted her. I don't know. I'm not going to make, how do you guys do it? How do you have more than one teenager at a time? I would just jump off a cliff. I would fall into the ocean. I don't know. Okay, at any rate, it's fine. It's fine. Everything's going to be fine. Everything is going to be fine. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Okay. So, a couple fun things. I just got this one of my coworkers, God bless my coworkers. They sent me like 3 things today, and I'm going to tell you all 3 of them. One of my favorites was, I guess the patient typed it in into her online questionnaire, and I'm not sure how it got through the system because usually a nurse would catch it, or maybe it was just so priceless that they wanted to leave it so I would have it or someone else would be able to enjoy it. When we ask you if you've had MRSA, we need to know that if have you been diagnosed with methicillin resistant Staph aureus, it's MRSA. When we ask where, it's not so much on which continent as it is on what body part. We need to know, did you have it was it in a joint and you almost lost it, or had a major issue? Was it just a swab in your nose and they just kind of treated you prophylactically orally, like what? So when this patient said yes, they've had MRSA, and where, they said Hawaii. While we appreciate that, I'm curious if you were visiting or if you lived there. That's a story in itself. But we don't care which state or country or island or anything where you got it. What we need to know is where on your body did you get it. So I was fortunate enough to listen to the PAT nurse ask the medical director about a patient who was very worried about the Brevitol she got because it paralyzed her. I hope so, because we're putting a needle in your eye. So you should probably stay still. But she thinks she was paralyzed for the rest of the day. Now, Brevitol in the dose we give lasts about 60 seconds. It's literally long enough for the doctor to do his local injection, which is like a good long needle that goes right in here, just above the orbital bone to the back of the eye. And it's with what's called a retrobulbar needle, and they fill it up with a local so you don't feel anything, so he can do the procedure. If you think you were paralyzed for the rest of the day, or a portion of you was paralyzed, that's not Brevitol. Brevitol's long gone. It's over before you even have surgery. It's done. That's precious, though. And then I was lucky enough to be at the desk when she came up and told the receptionist, who has no medical background at all, telling this poor receptionist to not give her Brevitol. And the receptionist is like, yeah, I won't give you Brevitol. I can promise you that. This lady is like 80. How do you not? Just like, moving on. A patient did want us to know that she was allergic to flaxseed because it caused vomiting and diarrhea. Not an allergy, and that's okay. And that's what flaxseed is kind of supposed to do. It's kind of the benefit of flaxseed. Still, we're not going to administer flaxseed to you at a outpatient surgery center. It's not a thing. I don't even think anybody there has any, much less the facility. Former smoker? Yes, 1 pack a day. Is that how much you smoked when you were a former smoker? Because if you are a former smoker, it would say, when did you quit? And in the when did you quit, he wrote 1 pack a day. Could you be more confusing? No? All right, just checking. Oh, one of my coworkers told me that the patient wrote in that they had urinal nerve surgery. You know the urinal nerve? It's surgery on the urinal nerve. I think I know what he means, but still precious. Um, this other patient canceled her surgery because of the online questionnaire from our center. It was like too much for her to answer. She wanted to tell us about her medical history before we, gave her general anesthesia or monitored anesthesia care. You don't need to know. I'm not writing all this down. So she just canceled her surgery, which is a benefit because I don't think that that's somebody that is probably the best person to be with. Here's another one I got today. She just sent it to me. Patient asked, it says on there, have you ever seen a cardiologist? Now, I always question them specifically because they write, and I'm sure they're trying to be as open and honest as possible, but when it has nothing to do with cardiology, I just delete it and that's our job. We're supposed to, fine tune and get to the bottom of exactly what's what. So they said, have you ever seen a cardiologist? They said, yes. Why? I don't know. When? Can't remember. So just no. So none of that matters. None of that has anything to do with anything. And then she had an arrhythmia. Yes. What kind? Thyroid arrhythmia. A thyroid arrhythmia. Okay. All right. Okay. Thyroid arrhythmia. We're moving on. I understand where she's going with that, but there's got to be just like a little tiny part of you that wants to understand a little of that. There's most of the time when I don't understand something, I have a computer in my hand, so I can literally just look it up, just Google it right away. Ooh, like we were looking up, my husband had told me, I don't know how we were on the subject, but the whole mind your P's and Q's said came from like, I don't know, maybe Irish pubs or something like that to say, watch how much you drink, mind your pints and quarts, pay attention to how much you're drinking for whatever reason. And then the anesthesiologist, the medical director that I work with, he had said something about your P's and Q's. And I said, oh, funny you mentioned that. And I told him that. He's like, actually, it also has been known to come from the typist when they set the typing letters, that a P is basically a Q kind of upside down, more or less. So be careful where you put your P's and Q's to make sure that, whoever's going to type is going to type correctly and those letters are in the right spot. So then I told Mike, who of course was like, no, and wanted to look it up. And there are 6 different origins of mind your P's and Q's. Just a tangent. Thought it was interesting. Anyway, I'm also a dork, so things like that interest me. Oh God, here's another one. Okay, so you know how I hate the box. I hate the box where it says, is there anything we can do here to make your stay better? While I do want to know that, and I can kind of pick up on it individually. Now, I don't know about the other nurses. I'm sure they do also. But, if I see them kind of doing this, I go get them heated blankets. If I see that they're really apprehensive about the procedure, I will, try to let them know that it's very common, very routine, and, talk up their surgeon, let them know they chose a good surgeon. But this, I don't know if I could do this. These particular things this patient requested, I'm not sure if I can do it. Follow guidance procedures. I don't even know what that is. That's like word salad. And safety factors. That's what it said. I swear to God. Follow guidance procedures and safety factors. That reminds me of a specific cackling goon who would say stupid stuff like that makes no sense. Those are not even, the words don't even go together. I have no idea what that even means. I understand what they're getting at, but none of that makes any sense at all. Then this one patient called back and they said that they had, they're going to have some blood drawn before surgery. And they want to know if it's okay if they have 2 vials of blood drawn before surgery. And I'm like, yeah, you can give away like 8 milliliters of blood before surgery. I don't think that's, it's literally like less than a medicine cup. I think it's like half of a medicine cup, less than a swallow of blood. Yes, you can give blood before surgery. You can donate blood before surgery. I don't know. Um, oh gosh. And then the one patient I spoke to, I was in there just for a short period of time last week. She was the entire video. My last video was this lady. Everything I said in the video, she must have watched and thought, oh, I'm going to get her, because she literally said it all, every single thing. She did the whole partial hysterectomy. Turns out she just had her uterus removed, which is called a hysterectomy. They don't take parts out. Maybe they'll take a portion of your liver out or a lung, but I don't know that they've ever taken a portion of your uterus out. It's a hollow organ. Something would fill up in it. It'd be probably problematic. Kidney stone surgery. It's like 6 different ways we can get kidney stones out of you, but okay. And she had the cancer surgery. It's where on your body was the cancer? No, she had the cancer surgery. Same person, I swear to God. Oh, this was an even better one. So my coworker, while I was in there, she's talking to this guy, and I can see her face all contorted, and I was like, oh, this is going to be a good one. So he thinks he is diet-controlled diabetic. That's like saying I'm diet-controlled obesity, which means if you can control it, if you have discipline and self-control to where you don't have that situation, then you don't have that situation. There's no such thing as diet-controlled. You're either diabetic or you're not. It's not like self-control pregnancy. I'm disciplined pregnancy. There's a reason I'm not pregnant. First of all, I'm too afraid to have another kid. Mine were awful. They're just horrible. So diet-controlled diabetes is not a thing, like at all. I know doctors say that all the time. Or you're borderline. You either are or you're not, and it is that simple. You could be leading toward it, just like you can heart disease and hypertension and kidney failure and all the other stuff if you don't take care of yourself. But that's like saying you are diet-controlled death eventually. It's not a thing. And this patient is very concerned that his sugar is going to go down. All right, I'm going to explain diabetes one more mother effing time, and then I'm never going to mention it again if I can help it. Your sugar cannot go down if you're diabetic without taking something to put your sugar into the cell. It is that simple. I don't understand. This is like, I had a patient like this the other day and I told you about this. It was in a previous video where he thought that his blood sugar was high, and then he said, God, what was it? Or was it low? And he said, it'll be better. Oh, no, it was high. And he said, it'll be better after I eat something. That's not how glucose works. It really is this simple. Glucose that lives in the bloodstream, which you have to have blood glucose to survive. It's going to be other places also, but it has to be in your bloodstream to survive. The only way it's going to get into the cell is if you have insulin to pull it into the cell, and you need the receptor sites and other secretions. Yes, but if you are not diabetic, aka diet-controlled diabetes, what could possibly make your sugar drop? Hypoglycemia, right? Then you're the opposite of diabetic. Yes, there's brittle diabetics out there, insulin-dependent diabetics that are brittle, and it's very tricky, and that has nothing to do with someone who thinks they're diabetic, or maybe they want to be diabetic. Maybe their spouse cooks them special stuff and waits on them, so because they think they have this disease. That's not how that works at all. Not even a little bit. You're either diabetic or you're not. And if you think your sugar drops by not eating anything and you haven't taken anything, then you're the opposite of diabetic. It's not tricky at all. It's one of the easiest things. Now, you want to get deep into the endocrine system, you talk to somebody else. I touch on it, and that's about it. But surely, diabetes is not that complicated. Just stop insisting you have diseases you don't have. This patient also, same person. He said he had diabetic neuropathy. No, this is a different person. This person said they had diabetic neuropathy, but denied diabetes and insisted he was an RN. Same coworker talked to him because she's kinder than I am. I would have no choice but to set him straight. I would have to say you cannot have diabetic neuropathy. You can have neuropathy, and it comes from other issues also. I'm sure I have some. My students used to make fun of me because and my husband does too. Not so much anymore. I guess it depends on what I'm doing, but I have like maybe essential tremors or something like one of the students said something like, are you nervous about whatever procedure we were doing? And I'm like, I've been doing this since before you were born. So it's definitely not nerves. But I have like little essential tremors, and there's probably a good chance since I lived on sugar for I probably at least 35 years out of my 41 that it has destroyed some distal capillaries as well as affected some nerves, or maybe even portions of my brain are damaged, and those uh, relays don't go out the way they should because I have internally destroyed a whole bunch of stuff from poor diet and bad self-control over the years. But that's not diabetic neuropathy. You have to have diabetes to have diabetic neuropathy. You can have neuropathy, but it's not diabetic induced. That's what, like, you can have diabetes and you can have steroid induced diabetes, but they're not the same thing at all. And this person insisted he was an RN. I'm gonna I'm gonna say hard no on that one. Um, Also, I'm sure this was a typo, but a 72-year-old woman wrote in yes when asked if there was a chance she could be pregnant. Let's hope not. I would again find a cliff to jump over because there's no way I could handle that. All right, I gotta get out of here and go take a Valium or something before I pick my daughter up so I don't strangle her. That's going to be a long car ride home. I'm going to have to listen to some true crime or something less depressing than her bedroom, so I don't tear my hair out. Face your fears, forget your failures, follow your faith. Love you guys.